I said in one of the previous episodes that I became a therapist because I was a high school English teacher. And when I was teaching high school, I noticed such a need for emotional help with teenagers. And I want to speak a little bit about that in this episode. When I was teaching high school in my early 20s, one of the schools where I taught was in mid-America in Oklahoma, small town. And I was teaching ninth grade English. I did that for a couple of years. And at the same time I was teaching high school English, my husband was a youth pastor. And so I was teaching English in the day, and then I was doing the youth things in the evenings. We actually had kind of a youth center. It had a bike track and a dirt bike track and a skateboard park and lots of like a game room. So we were attracting kids from the whole community in this small town. We at one point I think had 500 kids come to youth group, and the town was small. The high school was only maybe 1,000 people. And so lots of teens were coming, and I was getting to know them so well because I was with them in the day, and then on the nights and the weekends I was with them in another capacity. And I was having kids talk to me about their problems, and it was impoverished community, so there was a lot of abuse and a lot of problems that I think were part of that culture that we were living in. And so I remember specifically at one point when a young woman, probably 8th grade, disclosed to me about being sexually abused by her uncle. I was floored and didn't really know what to do with the information. And so that's just one of the examples of some of the things that were coming up for me during that time in my life that I didn't quite know how to handle. I mean, we ended up going to the police and kind of getting that situation taken care of, but I didn't feel like I had understanding of what to do in the situations. There was no template or roadmap for me to take to be able to know I was doing the right thing. I was at a loss, and I thought, I really want to become a therapist so I can really help these kids, not just in terms of English. Of course, I love English, and I think it was great to be able to teach that, but I felt like it was so much more valuable to learn how to help them psychologically, which is what I've done. So in the last 20 years, this is what I've been doing. I've been being a mental health therapist, and I believe so much in helping teens and young adults as well as everyone else, but just for the prevention aspect. My name is Monica Maurer. I am a licensed therapist. I'm also a supervisor and the director of the Center for Transformation Institute. At the CFT Institute, we exist to partner with therapists, resource therapists in terms of personal growth that will have professional impact. And so we are so excited to be able to do this with therapists, and we utilize the LIFE model, a curriculum that is neurotheology in its basis, to really enhance our own lives as therapists, and then to apply with the work we have with clients, and now we're bringing that to the world of therapists. And so I want to speak a little bit about my passion for the LIFE model in terms of being the conduit that is really taking people to the next level of growth. As I spoke about, as a young woman, as an English teacher, a young English teacher, I really wanted to be able to help teens. And I have my own emotional stuff as well that I was trying to maneuver through. And it wasn't until about 10 years ago that I came across this model, this neurotheology curriculum, the LIFE model, and I began to discover why it is so valuable for us personally as therapists, and then in the application with our clients. Now, of course, when I went to grad school 20-some years ago, I was able to learn so much that was immediately effective and helpful for the people that I was working with. Um, and then throughout the next decade, I was able to learn and grow from different continuing education courses and experiences, and just the practice. But when I came across the life model 10 years ago, I knew I'd struck gold. I knew there was something to this that was bigger than anything I had experienced yet. And the reason for that is because the life model brings together some concepts. It pulls together concepts from all the other trainings and such, but it brings it together in such a profound way. And the first thing that I'll say about that is just the profound way that the life model speaks about our relationship with ourselves. The life model has so much to say about just being tender to our own weaknesses, gentle to ourselves, understanding the gaps in our own development and our maturity, and learning how to fill in those gaps with relationship with God and others. But there's this sense of belonging to ourselves, not rejecting ourselves, but belonging to ourselves in a way that we are tender and merciful with our own pain, our past, and how we interact with people and ourselves and God in the present, so that we can truly understand ourselves. One of the quotes that Dr. Wilder, the main neurotheologian, says is, we need to make ourselves understandable to others. But what if we don't understand ourselves? And so the life model kind of gives us this conduit, this map for understanding and being patient and kind with ourselves in the process of understanding ourselves. So I love that. I love the idea. I'm passionate about that idea of accepting myself. I didn't have a choice about which body I was born into, which family I was born into, where I was born, any of those factors. And so there's a sense of, I think sometimes when we don't like some of the things in our lives, of rejecting who we are rather than embracing. And I tell you what, the life model has been so helpful to me in figuring out how to just accept who I am as a unique individual and really learn to grow and embrace and then give out of that place. The other thing I'll say about my passion for the life model has to do with our relationship with each other. There's this beautiful image that the life model is giving us of how important, how very vital our interpersonal relationships are. They're not just a part of life, they are life. We are relational beings. This is who we are on this earth to be. And when our relationships aren't going well, our life's not going well. And I'm passionate about this in terms of the life model. The life model gives us a picture of what this is supposed to look like. And so if we know what our target is for what healthy belonging looks like, what healthy community looks like, then we can take that to the next level by figuring out what's going wrong. If I know what my target is, then I can go, okay, what's keeping me from my target? What's keeping me from having a life-giving marriage or relationship with my children or my neighbors, my community, my coworkers? What's keeping me from that? What inside of me, what inside of them? Learning to be tender to myself, but also confront myself. Learning to see the things that I'm contributing that are not healthy. And learning how to be patient with others as they have things inside of them, while at the same time confronting them in love. The life model is all about confronting in love. Being able to give messages to people that are hard messages, but doing so from a true heart of authentic love. Not just saying it nice, but actually feeling love in your heart for another person. That is a tall order, not something that is simple, something that we have to grow in maturity to be able to even do. And then the third thing about life model that makes me so passionate about it is the fact that it gives us an understanding, a model for how to have relationship with God in a way that's secure and attached. I think the concept of God as humans is so complicated. It's a mystery. It's bigger than what we know. And sometimes we talk about God like he's mean, he's big, bad. Why would he do this to us? Why does he just leave us here? Why does he allow these things to happen? And there's a sense, though, that when we do that, that we abandon the idea of having a situation where we can feel connected to God, where we can feel safe and secure and known and loved, because we are judging the way things are on the earth. We're judging God through that lens, thinking that God is bad. And so Life Model helps us to pull together the concept of God as someone, or he's not a someone, but a sense of the God of the universe being a figure who we can attach to and have a secure attachment bond to in a way that causes us to be able to see ourselves and see each other and our relationships through that healthy lens. It's a space of being able to be grounded and connected to who we are intended to be on this earth. It's big stuff, and it's super exciting. And there's so much more to it. So please continue to follow along. And I will continue talking through the life models, the ins and the outs. We're going to go into detail, and it's going to be an amazing journey. I'm so excited that you're here with me for it.